Hey everyone, Connor here from the Dobbers, and we have top 8 finalist, Steve Claxton. How's it going, buddy?
Yeah, not too bad. Can't complain too much. Still on a bit of a high from the weekend. Kind of proud of what I finally managed to achieve.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
Yeah, so this was your first time top.
first time topping it ever.
So how long have you been playing the game then? When did you jump in?
So, the official answer, I suppose, would be 2006. Um, I used to work in one of the local game shops in Colchester and got playing every game in that store. And at the time, UFS, as it was known, was quite well played in Colchester, and it was picked up really quickly by a lot of players. And I was actually taught by another top eight finalist this weekend, Ricky. Literally
Oh,
taught me how to
Ricky.
play back in 2006. Um, I sort of fell out of it around 2008 when the game moved to Fantasy Flight and the prices hiked up. I couldn't really afford to keep up with all the card games at the time
Yeah,
because
fair,
I was only a
fair.
young lad, not making adult money at the time. And then I jumped back in 2018, just after MK dropped the MK set dropped.
Back in. Fair. No, no,
And
no.
then,
Fair. So, as we were saying, so this is the first time you topped, but let's go through your rounds in Swiss and what you paired against and stuff. So, what was your game one?
so game one, I played a young lad called Chi, and he was playing Gentle Criminal, which I wasn't expecting it to be as hard as the matchup was because obviously Gentle's not exactly been well represented in any sort of meta at all. Um, but I would minus speed and block, and then he'd get plus X to his checks.
Yeah,
And then the same thing. I would. He had like creep doubts on board. He had all sorts of like speed reduction. I think he was on void. So yeah, he was on void as well. So we're both playing a void deck. Um, he had all the sorts of speed, the check hacks, the speed hacks, and it was a lot more awkward than I was anticipating it to be. If you know what I mean. Um, I got the win 2-0, fortunately, but it was, yeah, like I said, it was a lot harder than it should have been. Um,
yeah.
I asked him where he played. He said he played with just his dad. So I don't believe anyone who ever says that this game cannot be learnt just sat at a kitchen table with a parent. If you put the time and effort in, you can learn this game. And he made no mistakes in any of the two games that I played against him. Not a single mistake. Like I didn't have to correct him on anything. I didn't have to help him with anything. He knew how to play this game, and he learnt that playing with his dad.
That's cool. I mean, that's one of those cool things, well, because as you say, it's like the game is easy. It's easy to pick up if you put the time in to learning it. Like, yeah, but it's interesting to see. I didn't even realize there was a gentle criminal there that entire weekend. That's not one I would have prepped for in the slightest.
Oh, definitely not. But I think there might have been two. And obviously he was on one. I think someone else said that someone else had mentioned that there was someone else potentially on one as well. So
That would have tripped me up. I feel like that'd have been a loss. I wouldn't have been. I'd been like, right, what's this character do again?
I was like shocked to say the least when he sat down against me and turned over his character.
So you get the first round win. You go into round two, and who do you play?
Oh, I play into our good friend Reese.
Oh, he was
Our good
overhaul,
friend
wasn't he?
Reese on overhaul, and yeah, that was an like interesting matchup.
I
He,
wonder. I wonder how many Godzillas he played this weekend.
I wonder how many goals he
that
made.
that would have been a rough matchup.
I mean, I think he should have probably just played the Godzilla instead.
Yeah,
But man, the guy's loyal to Overhaul, so you'll have to see it. Um, So yeah, that game. So going into game 1, he wins the die roll and absolutely high rolls me turn 2, like
Oh,
blows me out of the water, and I'm just like, well, this is how this weekend's gonna go. Like, I'm gonna come up against these characters who can high roll me, and I'm gonna get high rolled. So game 2, I side in the little defensive pieces that I know I've got in the side, my capes, an extra couple of like low blocks because he's playing low overhaul essentially.
yeah.
And I managed to play good defense game 2 and eke out the win. I can't remember exactly how it went. Obviously, it's been a few days. And then game 3 was just like I hit the right pieces at the right time and just managed to get that W. I mean, he sided in calorie counters,
That's fair.
which against Rodan with combined firepower able to block. Being able to block from disc, and essentially that's what saved my life, because if he'd not played the calorie counter and had played something else, I probably was gonna lose the match 2-1.
Right, I take the hit off it.
So it's just not poor choice of siding, obviously, but just lucky siding on my part from him in a sense.
Yeah, and seeing what he gets into. So you're 2-0, you get into round 3.
Going into round 3, and I pair into Tom Horrocks,
Oh yeah.
who obviously also topped this weekend with,
Yep.
I think he sat around 5th or 6th.
Yeah, something like that.
In the Rodan Mirror.
Oh yeah. Oh.
There was a Rodan Mirror, and it was my hardest game of the weekend. He was playing obviously all the good void stuff. He was playing the redupes. He was playing the what's the is it the total eraser or what? The one that said you can't play abilities on your character. The eraser head attack from the Clash
Oh
decks.
yeah, the Clash Tech one. Oh, what's that? Total Erasure, I think it's what that's called, isn't it?
So, but yeah, he was playing that, and he was stopping me from doing things, and he got me down to something like 6 health turn 2, and it was really awkward. I was struggling, and I was building up my stage and keeping the defense on things, and it was just like right time, right moment. I pulled um, Sword of the Darkness Flame and a Ice Sword Execution. I was able to tap down his. I was able to play the Sword of Darkness Flame, put the momentum in, and then played the Ice Sword Execution after, and tapped down all copies of Incubating, which were obviously he had 4 in stage. I had 1, so I had to commit my own. And I managed to clip him for 17 with the combined firepowers.
Nice.
And then I had the double Tornado Fist in hand with an extra momentum. And although I was, that was my clutch card all weekend. Double Tornado Fist, it won me so many games. You can't reduce the speed below printed, so I mean there was no incubating, there was no road that, like, obviously Rodan was still going to take it back down to printed, but it's
Yeah, but it's still on board. Yeah.
and I managed to hit that twice, and even though because he couldn't incubate it, he had to try to block it, and unfortunately, obviously didn't. Well, I say unfortunately. Fortunately for me, he weren't able to block both of them, and that's what won me the game. And I only won 1-0. We got down to sort of like we got about. I think that took us 36 minutes, and then the next 24 was just back and forth between for game 2, and he threw everything in the kitchen sink at me, and I was just able to block the last attack, which would have killed me, with the combined firepower from the discard pile again, which honestly
Oh,
that saved my life so many times. But yeah, so I only won that 1-0. But that was my toughest match of the weekend. Obviously, he's doing exactly the same thing that I was doing. So you just end up cancelling each other out.
yeah. That mirror match actually feels quite rough. Like, I know I was playing like Godzilla, and that was just like, right, who hits who first. But yeah,
Yeah,
yous are doing something quite literally that cancels each other out. Like, yeah, never even thought of that actually. That would be rough. You get the 1-0 at least. So, so now you're 3-0. You go into round 4. You're
going
you're
into
you're
round
rolling
4.
well. You're rolling well at this point.
I am rolling well, and I'm still not thinking about anything. I'm just like, right, I'm just carry on playing as I had been, and just rolling into to round 4, and I'm paired into Jonathan Yates.
Yeah.
I seem to obviously I played two of the guys obviously who hit top 8 for day 2. Now Jonathan is part of the reason why I decided to pivot from Godzilla to Rodan
I was
at the
gonna.
last moment.
I was going to ask you this at some point. Still disappointed.
Well, I mean, we'll go into it later if you want, but
Definitely.
he's part of the reason. And again, he wins the dice roll. I'm going second again. I didn't win a single dice roll all day, I don't think. No, I didn't. I went 0-4 on dice rolls. Again, I'm playing Chaos Godzilla, and he absolutely decimates me. Like, I build up 3-4 foundations, and he turn twos me. It was going to be one of those games. I
Yeah.
sat down. When I sat down in front of him, I said to him, "I'm going 5-1 today, and my only loss is going to be to you," because it just felt that way. And again, I had to do what I did against Reese, and I had to side in the techie pieces that I had in the discard part. Like I think I said to you the other day, most of my defensive bits were all in my sideboard.
Yeah.
My extra defensive bits, I had a few little ones in the main deck, but most of it was in the sideboard. I didn't main any capes. I only had 3 barrier shields, and I had a couple of other little bits. And again, it just came down to good defense when I needed to it, and then hitting back because he's overextended. And that was the story of both of those two, of game 2 and 3. It was just good defense on my part, and I think that's what sort of won me most of my games. It was the right defense at the right time, and I think and some, and I don't mean just Jonathan, but Zilla players when they think they've got it, they won't blow that board. And I think if he'd have blown the board at an earlier point, he would have probably had the games 2 or 3 at that point, just because he had that option to do that, and he's got momentum. So you can just high roll and try and check a 5 on an attack,
Yeah.
and not a lot I can do about it when I'm sitting there with no foundations.
Yeah. And I
So I think
I noticed a few Godzillas were running like battle arenas and stuff. So it's like, well, that doesn't get blown up, and then it's like just go in as well.
yeah.
Like there's plenty of options on Chaos, but
Oh yes.
I think you're bang on the money with it though. Where like, including myself, I don't think enough Godzillas were blowing up the board at the right moment. I used that first form once in both days.
Oh wow.
Yeah, if I wasn't, I was either turn 2 people or like getting them in the turn 3, finishing them off. Just never seen the use for it. I think Mike was the only game I had to use it. Yeah, so
That was
like
the mirror as well, wasn't it?
yeah, that was the mirror. Oh, that's something else. But yeah, you're bang on with it. I think like so. Yeah, he probably could have had a much easier run at you if he used it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, he did. I think he used it in one of the games, but it was just two. Yeah, no, he did. He used it in what I think game 2, and I had gone through all my attacks, and he was pretty low by that point, and I knew what was on top. I had 2 cards left in my deck, and I'd gone through my discard pile, what I'd seen attack. I knew I was checking 2 5s, and it was again double tornado fist in hand, 2 high with momentum. Honestly,
Yeah,
that card was so clutch for me all weekend.
yeah, that was the card Adam was telling us about. So
So yeah, that puts me at, I win that one 2-1, and that puts me at 4-0 for the day, going into rounds 5 and 6.
yes, So how did your round 5 and 6 go? Because I've got a feeling I know this is where like the IDing comes in.
Well, I went and had a nice cup of coffee with Greg after we ID'd round 4. um, and then, no, round 5, sorry. And then round 6, me and Baz were able to ID and we sat down and we played out a little. Obviously, we played the match out a little bit before deck checks happened. So we went 1-1 in the game of Recovery Goal versus Rodan. But it weren't even like nothing serious. It was just cool to sit down in front of Baz, chat with him, you know, and play the game out a little bit more chilled out. But yeah, so finished the day 4-0-2, which, like I said, for me, I was absolutely gassed because I was able to make day 2 for the first time ever, and that was the goal.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if there was anyone that needed that to happen, it was yourself.
Thank you. I mean, it was gone.
It was one of those things where it was like definitely enough people were mentioning it as well. Where it was like, right, here's Steve, he's the underdog at this point that's going to get it done, you know. So like, I think the fact you went literally just 4 wins in a row, and you're like, right, cool, I'm basically locked in, like, and then you got to just chill.
I was still doubting myself. I was like, can I get in on a 4-0-2? Like, because I've never been there. I don't know how the scoring works. I'm like, am I there? Is people gonna go 6-0 and then I'm out, or you know? So
No, that's fair. That's fair. I know in the times where I've like been on the bubble of top 8, and it's like, right, you're sitting and you're doing the math. When I was sitting next to Adam, him and Ricky were playing, but they were both on a like, they were like, oh, we're got the ID, and I was like, whoa, like, 'cause we were
yeah,
doing the
it was.
math, and I was like, wow, you are like potentially both out on that. Like, that's such an
Mhm.
interesting shoot. That's like really rolling the dice. You've got to hope the next 4 tables don't have like a bunch of wins. And they got
Yeah, it
so
was.
lucky. They got so lucky. Like the bottom 4 tables below where I was at were all like draws, and the person that lost was the one that needed the win and stuff. So like Adam and
Yeah,
Ricky stayed right on the bubble on that
yeah, they
ID.
were 7th and 8th, weren't they, on the
Yeah,
ID? Oof,
yeah.
yeah,
I
brave
just had to
men.
stress out the 2 final wins. Round 5 and 6 were my winning in rounds. So
Oh hell.
I was just done. The game against Mike, oh, he's tapping out and he goes, "Now you've got me," and my head just hit the table. Like we were like just on time as it was happening and everything. I was like, that's it was too
Yeah,
stressful.
that don't sound like the sort of pressure I wanted at all. It's, you know, that sounds horrible.
Yeah, it does. It sucks.
And
I'd have preferred
oh,
the
oh,
4-0 and then had 2 cups of tea and coffee and stuff.
yeah, so winning in sounds stressful. I don't want to be there.
Yeah, no, it's not worth it. You went the right route. So obviously you get to day 2. So how does that go for yourself?
So day 2, obviously I was rooming with my cousins Sam and Joe. Obviously we know Sam's obviously topped events before, won the last regional, and they're both sitting there saying to me, "Pressure's on." You're in the top 8. The pressure's on. I was completely opposite. I was like, "Pressure's off." Like I've done what I set out to do.
Yep.
Would it be nice to win? 100%. But I couldn't be disappointed with achieving the goal that I wanted to achieve, regardless. So the pressure was off. Um, I was paired into obviously Adam first in our as top 8 match, and like it was like sitting down at a kitchen table with a mate and just jamming some games. It was my favourite matchup of the whole weekend. Obviously, being the higher seed, I chose to go first, and it was just good back and forth, tense, like making sure it was picking the right enhance at the right time, and I managed to block most of what he was throwing at me, and then eventually squeaked out the win in the first round. Game 2, Adam goes first. Obviously, after siding in, we sided in the bits we needed sided in. Again, game 2, he absolutely high rolls me. Like I don't think quite turn 2, but turn 3 definitely I was dead. Did he hit me with a gently theft? I think he might have hit me with a gently theft that it's just coming in.
I think he sided in gently. Aye.
And then like I say, game 3 it was back and forth the whole game. Obviously, we get that extra half an hour. I think we sat around 40 minutes left on the round at the time. But at the time we start game 3, and the turn that I've managed to survive, I think he threw sort of like 5 or 6 attacks at me, and I managed to block them, leaving me a sort of around 5 health, something along that lines. And then again was just able to hit back on the crackback ISO execution to tap down the important parts on the board, and then just go ham. Again, I won the game. I won game 3 with double tornado fist.
Yep.
I mean, there was a lot of RNG on Adam's part. I felt really bad, but it was good for me to watch him flipping threes at the wrong times. But because obviously, as you know, me and you played at the last regional, that happened to me constantly.
Oh yeah.
So that was nice to see it happen to someone else. It's just a shame it was in a top 8 match and against Adam, because the guy is absolutely lovely, and we had a massive hug at the end of the game. And yeah, it was just one of those ones. Like I said, it was my favourite matchup because it didn't feel like I was under any pressure playing Adam at all. So that was nice.
Yeah, that is probably like the best bit, like because you've had your goal, get to top 8, and then you can just enjoy it. Like
Yeah.
I would imagine that you were probably the only one enjoying the moment of top 8 at that point in time. Like you probably were. I know I wasn't. I got my head stomped in like so fast I was able to sign up for retro.
Brilliant.
I was.
Hey, you won that though.
Yeah, I won that though, but the regionals would have been nice. Yeah, we were done in half an hour. Like I was doing what you did when we last played, and it was just checking threes. I went, right, cool, I can't do it. It's like, all right, that's what it is.
I mean, it sucks. It sucks
Yeah.
hard.
So
Game chance.
you beat Adam. You move even further up the bracket than intended.
Yep.
So who do you play
And
next?
I play into Jonathan again.
Ah, right, yeah.
So we have the rematch, and we'd both spoken prior, said that this could go 50-50. I mean, I may have won game 1, was match 1 on day 1, but there was no guarantees it was going to go my way again. And we sit down, and Jonathan's a great guy. Like, I've not really spoken to him loads prior to that, but what a nice guy. And obviously we're on stream. They put me and him on stream, and they let Baz and Greg play off, over on the tables, just doing our own thing, sort of thing. So I'm going first again because again high seed, and I build out, and I've got stuff. Every time I drew foundations every game against like 4-5 low blocks, and I know what Jonathan's deck's doing pretty much, apart from the side. I knew what he had in the side, but it weren't too sure what he was going to side in and when. But I had low blocks for the smashing stomps, the blue flame torments, all those sorts of little things. And yeah, every hand 4 low blocks for foundations. I'm like, I don't really want to play these because I'm going to need to hold them at some point to survive. However, I did fortunately manage to play 2 3 eyes of Hiei, which is great in any sort of matchup where you can obviously, like I say, block from the bin with combined firepower. You change everything to mid, or if not, you just reduce the speed and look at what you've got in your hand and use the Hiei for that. And game 1, like I said, we got to the point where he's on 17, I'm on sort of like, I think I'm on 12, and like, when I say, I've said this a couple of times, but threw the kitchen sink at me. But he threw the kitchen sink at me, and I blocked everything down to the last attack. And I think he managed to throw 5 attacks at me that turn, and it was all, like, I don't want to blow my own trumpet, but it was impeccable defense.
Yep.
And I was able to survive because I played really good defense that turn, and then and then again managed to. He committed down, and I drew into the Ice-Sword Execution at the right time to commit the Broken Psyche, so he weren't reducing that to 2. Played that, and then again double Tornado Fist for the win. To win game 1, and obviously go into game 2. Obviously we do the sidey bits, and he sort of, it not high rolls me, but he gets me good really early on, and this is why I can't blow my own trumpet, because I've done impeccable defense to win game 1, and then go and forget to use Rodan for the Dimensional Sphere block on
Oh
the
no.
hybrid Chimera Kraken, and I had a +3 block mod. It could have been -3 speed. Put it down to 4. I checked the 3. Would have needed to commit 1 out, and then hopefully he had another 2 attacks in hand, but hopefully blocked another 1 and been able to survive that turn. But silly me, missed the most important part of the character, and go and get myself killed in turn 2 or 3, whatever it was, pretty early on.
That's rough.
And then game 3, we went into it. It was going to be a massive toss up, and I watched the stream back and looking at it. Obviously, he'd drawn hot massively, and I'd left Rodan ready. I used Rodan to commit out and look at what the top 2 cards in my deck were. Blocked the 1, put the 5 on top and the 3 on the bottom. And Tam said it on stream that he set himself up for a trap that he doesn't know is even coming, because the attack that came after was the Gently Theft, and I can't do nothing about that with speed. And that's what got me, unfortunately. So that was the end of the road in the top 4. Like I say, it might have gone differently if I'd have not, messed up on the Dimensional Sphere, but I'm not going to take anything away from Jonathan. He played really well, and we both knew it could go either way for us.
Yeah, and I think that's just it as well. Like that, it's always good to watch back the games, especially on stream. But it sometimes sucks to like reflect on it a bit as well. We're like, that was the play. Like,
I mean, like, just my poker face is shit, because I knew once I'd done that, I was done. I was like, oh no, here we go. But I'm also one of those, like I say, I know if you've got me, there's no point in me trying to act like you ain't got me. You've got me.
right? Okay.
So
Yeah.
there may be some time where I can go, oh, I might be able to bait him into playing another foundation because he doesn't know. But most of the time, it's like you know if you've got someone anyway. So
Yeah.
but like I said, I thoroughly enjoyed my top 8 run, even though it ended not prematurely. It ended way after I was expecting to get high roll by Adam twice and go and chill out for the rest of the day. So
you did. You made your you made your goal plus some. But that is going to lead us on to who you should have been playing for the weekend.
I should have been playing Godzilla. I had been testing and changing and building every version of Earth Godzilla since the moment they previewed him.
Yeah, you're the exact same as me.
I mean, I love the character. Suits my style. Earth's probably my favourite symbol. I remember speaking to Mike before, and I've always said that I'm not a massive fan of control-y decks in a big event, because I don't want to have the stress of playing long games. I want to sit down and just be, I'm either dead or you're dead within 20 minutes, and I can just go off and chat and enjoy the day,
Yeah.
without the stress of that sort of thing. then it kind of just didn't happen. I won a local championship, I won a local qualifier with my Godzilla deck, and then right on top of the event, he starts being a little bit too inconsistent for my liking. And I sat down, and me and Sam were testing at like 9:30 on Friday night, and I got the Godzilla out, and actually no, I got the Rodan out first against his Chaos Godzilla, and got high rolled, which is really weird. But sat there, I got the Godzilla out, and yeah, just kept drawing grey after grey after, and it's like that deck when it wants to draws like crazy. It's like we're Titan Cliffing, we're Fearsome Transformations, we're everything under the sun. So 9:55 on Friday night with literally zero testing apart from the one match with Rodan. I pivoted and put the Rodan in instead of the Godzilla.
And the switch.
That massive switch.
Yeah. Yeah, not even
I
just on
mean,
like play style, but on health totals, hands, everything.
everything. Like
Such
it
a
was,
jump.
yeah, massive. Like completely different to what I was supposed to be doing. And I think I said this to a few people. Like, if I'd have played Godzilla and it hadn't gone well, I'd have been salty. Not because like I really want to do well, but I'd have been because I know how well. If the deck goes, it goes. If I switch to Rodan and don't do so well, for me, I'm just like, well, it's because I made a choice then to go with something completely opposite with to what I wanted to do, and with zero testing with that deck. So it was just it was a choice rather than me ended up being salty for weeks because my deck didn't do what the deck was supposed to do.
Yeah, and sometimes that's the worst. But sometimes you also just have to have that gut feeling of what's going to do better. I was the same on the car way down. It was only until we were driving down the event. It was like we were about 8:30 or something. One of the messages we got was like, "Oh, remember to submit your deck. It's 10 o'clock." And I went, "No, it's midnight." Oh, so I was like, right. I've now got to quickly put one of these decks into the deck builder for the site. I was like, right, it's just going to be the first one I find. So that's because
Fair
I
enough.
had the Chaos version ready to go. I had the Earth version ready to go, and I just the whole week I was like, I don't know what version I'm playing. I like both. Like both were working for me pretty well. I was like, I don't think there's a definitive winner between the two.
See, I never got to try the Chaos version because I don't have the cards for it. I have most of
Right.
it, but I don't have the Blue Flames. I don't have enough Walk the Dogs. I don't have Deception Daggers, which I'd have liked to have put in there. So I never really got to try the Chaos version. However, I knew again, like I was saying about Jonathan, was part of the reason I switched because I played him in webcam on the Tuesday and he absolutely tanked my Earth Godzilla with Chaos Godzilla. So he was part of the reason that I was like, I cannot beat a Chaos Godzilla, and I've never beaten a Chaos Godzilla, so it was a little bit, just like that
Yeah.
was part of the reason to switch. I was expecting to see a lot of more Chaos Godzillas, which I think there were,
Oh yeah. Aye.
um, and I hadn't beaten one, so I was like, this is not the way I want to go with this at all.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah, I think there was like 17 Godzillas, and I think there was only two that were on Earth. The rest were all
And
Chaos. It's like, yeah, I can see it.
yeah,
But no, so you've top eight, so which means that at the what is it, October's the next one?
October,
Are you intending on going to that one?
absolutely. Like
Alright, cool. So you
I could have won and I'd still be there because I like to see people. I like to spend time with friends. Like it, for me, the event's great. Spending time with friends is better, And I made a lot of friends through playing this game, so I plan to be there regardless.
that's awesome. So obviously you're going to go there. You're going to now be a back-to-back regional top cut. That's the plan now. We've locked that in.
That is the plan.
Yeah,
We're gonna go for that one now.
which will
So
cheekily lead on to: do you think you'll stick with Rodan, maybe jump to Godzilla, or do you have an Attack on Titan character that you think you'll be running?
um, there's a couple of Attack on Titan characters that I like. I'm not massively keen on what we've seen so far, so I'm not gonna sit there and say I'm playing this or I'm not playing that. At the moment, I've had to make the informed decision. I'm not gonna buy in. I've got too much going on. I'll pick up singles where I need to, and if I decide to switch out to an Attack on Titan character, that'd be because I'd have done probably loads of testing and then with a different one and gone, nah, let's play this one instead. But I'll keep the Rodan. I've already got some changes that I'll make to it. So that'll be a thing for a little while at least.
Yeah, as long as your performance hasn't gotten like ban worthy yet, like I think you're safe.
Definitely not. So
Hopefully
we're
not.
good.
Oh, absolutely perfect. Well, thank you very much again, Steve. Congratulations again on making it to top 8.
Thank you very much, and thanks for having me on.
Next time we've just got to finish the story.
Yeah, we get that W somehow.
That's it. So thank you very much everyone for watching, and we'll catch you on the next interview. See you later on, everyone.
Cheers.